I want to welcome everybody. I'm Paula Bartholomew, and I'm just delighted that you've joined me for Hawthorn University's All About Alumni series. This is where we get to hear directly from our graduates about the exciting things they're doing professionally. So how do we hit the ground running in our holistic nutrition ventures post-graduation? Well, let's find out. Today, Hawthorn's accredited nutrition consultant program graduate Lori Fozo joins me to tell us of her secrets of success. And Lori will share her post-grad business thoughts and experiences with loving others to health, building a business, and nourishing education and support. All right, so hello, Lori, and welcome. I'm really excited to be here together.
Hi, Paula. I'm opportunity and really looking forward to sharing my thoughts today.
I'm really looking forward to it. So it's my pleasure to introduce you. I want to let everybody know that Lori Fozo is a nutrition consultant and is passionate about sharing the healing benefits of quality whole foods that taste great. In addition to her nutrition consultant certificate, she holds a master's degree in education. Lori was a public school teacher for 20 years, and now she's off to teach others how a whole food, plant-based diet can nourish the body, mind, and spirit. Lori serves her clients as a nutrition guide, educating, supporting, and inspiring them to successfully meet their nutrition and healthy lifestyle goals. All right, Lori, so let's get you started right off and have you tell us more about yourself.
All right, wonderful. Well, I'd like to give you all some additional background information about myself, how I went from a young mom to a public school teacher to a nutrition educator. So I married my high school sweetheart in 1974, and we are still married. And I have two daughters. Jessica was born in 76 and Angie was born in 79. And after they got into elementary school, I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree in elementary education in 1989 and my master's degree in 96. I started teaching in 1990, and so I acquired that master's degree while I was working. I went into education because I just plain love to learn, and along with that, love to share the knowledge that I have learned. I also totally enjoyed the school environment, so I love just being at school. My teaching career spanned 20 years, and all along I had these two passions. I loved teaching, going to school, working with the kids, but I also loved studying nutrition. And at that 20-year mark, I realized that it was time to turn my passion into a new career. So in 2010, I retired, but not really. Because I was going to go on to get education, further my education so that I could do something with this nutrition passion that I had and have. So, and if we go full circle from the time I married until I went to Hawthorn, now we're looking at my business, Nourish Natural Nutrition for Your Life, which was born in July of 2012. And that name, Nourish, actually came to me on a bike ride with my husband. And I seem to get like hits in nature ideas. I really believe that the name Nourish represents the way in which quality whole foods can literally gift us with health and vitality. And in my personal statement for Hawthorn, I had said that I believe that food energy not only nourishes the body, but the mind and spirit as well. And so I knew I wasn't just going to talk to people about food and their bodies, but the whole person. My Nourish philosophy, my mission and philosophy is to educate and support my clients as they strive to meet their nutrition and healthy lifestyle goals. And the foundation of that is high quality, plant-based whole foods and healthy lifestyle. It is very trite, but very true that we need to consider food first and food is medicine, because we literally are what we eat. So I always advise myself first and then others to nourish ourselves the best we can, because I believe that everyone can raise the level of their wellness.
Beautiful.
My Nourish services include individual consultations, one-on-one with my clients, workshops, classes, cooking experiences, corporate wellness, and even some catering. So
Wow, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that as we continue. And, you know, I'm intrigued to know why you left public school teaching for nutrition.
All right. Well, my interest and passion with nutrition, as I had alluded to earlier, goes back actually 4 decades, or a little more than that. I had an early interest in cooking food from scratch. I started bread baking, not with a bread machine, but with my hands, when my first daughter was very little. I had a friend give me a copy of Laurel's Kitchen, which is kind of like the first vegetarian Bible that came out. And although I wasn't a vegetarian at the time, I really learned a lot about real food. And I have this connection to the earth and what's best for my body. During my teaching career, I shared food with my colleagues, with my students. I shared recipes. They knew my philosophy. And I insinuated my passion into my working life whenever I could. So I made it part of the curriculum, which was a lot easier to do back then than it is now. Teachers are really crunched for time to kind of shine their own passions at school, unfortunately.
Look at those kids. They're so eager and excited.
Yes. And kids are, they are. And so I taught bread baking. I taught kids how to read labels. We did a cooking dinner at home unit where they finished up the unit by preparing dinner for their parents. And also while I was teaching, I did some work through Clayton College of Natural Health, which is an institution that no longer exists. But I was, you know, trying to really formalize my nutrition education. But my teaching life and education in general was really changing. And I knew it was time for me to change. And I wish I could have found a woman jumping across there, but here's the guy in the suit doing it. And I knew it was time for me to change and to transition and evolve. I would still be teaching, but a different subject matter. So in 2010, the spring of 2010, I did formally retire with my husband's full support. And his literal statement to me was, nothing is more important than being happy. So then I was on my way to find an online school. There were no traditional schools in my area, there still aren't, where I could actually go and sit in a classroom. So I went in search of an online school.
All right. So maybe you're going to get to your Hawthorn experience here in a little bit.
Yes, very soon. So I researched and spoke on the phone with about 6 or 7 different schools. And I actually got on the NANP's website, the National Association of Nutrition Professionals, and they would list schools that they recommended. So I talked to people from Bowman College in California, the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in Ontario, Canada, Nutrition Therapy Institute in Denver, Trinity College, which is not far from where I live, although it is an online school, Institute of Integrative Nutrition in New York, and Hawthorn University in California. So I knew that I wanted a very comprehensive curriculum, something complete, nothing left out, and something that would mesh with my philosophy. or my blossoming philosophy. And I also wanted rigorous coursework. I didn't want to just, read a chapter, take a little quiz. I wanted to get into the meat of what I was learning. And one morning, during my morning yoga practice, I was kind of mulling over all these different schools and all the different people I had spoken with. And all of a sudden it was like, no, it's Hawthorn. I felt a real connection to the people I had spoken on the phone with, what I discovered on the website, the coursework, everything sounded intriguing. It sounded very comprehensive and rigorous. And I just felt that was the school to go to. So that was my aha moment. When I filled out my personal statement for admission, this quote at the top is actually a literal quote from that statement, that by formalizing my education in nutrition, that I would be able to competently educate and support my clients. I knew I already had skills in education, and my desire was that those would kind of seamlessly translate into my nutrition consulting practice. And I'll be doggone if they haven't. So everything fell into place, and I began my studies with Hawthorn.
Terrific, terrific. Well, tell us a little bit more about your time at Hawthorn and what that was like for you.
All right. Well, I had made the decision to pursue the nutrition consultant certificate. And I did that because I already had a master's degree in education. I did not want to, obviously, by going through Hawthorn, did not want to pursue a registered dietitian degree. Because I wanted to work directly with clients, and I wanted to be independent in my work with them. I didn't want, if I pursued like a registered dietitian degree, I would have been under the government's philosophy of nutrition, their regulations and paperwork, standard diet plans, perhaps. I didn't want a cookie cutter method. I did not want to be constrained by a strict allopathic methodology. I wanted that holistic framework. So I knew I wanted to get the nutrition consultant certificate. And so I began my studies, and my curriculum was comprised of 16 courses. It took me 2 years to complete that. I could have taken longer, I could have done it more quickly, but that seemed like a really good pace for me. I had courses in whole foods nutrition, research skills, the body systems, diet evaluation and planning, structuring the client interview, and lastly, business organization, which was so important. So here I've got the curriculum, the challenge, the structure, and I tend to go for the, I've never done what she's doing in the picture, but I tend to go for the challenge. And so I felt like Hawthorn did a fabulous job with such a balanced curriculum. I had traditional textbook readings, audio lectures, practical activities, oral and written communication opportunities. I had a conference call at the end of every course with my instructor. I had practice clients, myself being the first one. I learned about interpersonal skill development and business organization. And so if I can get my thing to work, there we go. My instructor was Heidi Snyder. I chose to have Heidi be my instructor through the whole coursework. I had an option to go with some different instructors, but we had developed such a rapport. Heidi is no longer with Hawthorn, and as far as I know, she and her husband are sailing the Caribbean as we speak.
Is it true?
Yes. And she's a consultant, a nutrition consultant herself, a coach, an educator. She was there for all kinds of support and encouragement, constructive criticism. She would provide additional ideas for different projects that I was working on. And at the end of every course, we had our conference call to go over material and really create a bond and a rapport with one another. So I'm very blessed to have had her at Hawthorn. I was encouraged by the curriculum and by Heidi to dig deeper and be creative in my projects and in my papers. I became my first practice client. I critiqued and tweaked recipes and prepared different food items. I conducted a sugar study involving my friends and family. I wrote research papers. Some of those papers turned into projects or presentations that I later used. I evaluated ingredients in food, supplements. I created handouts and menus. I literally visualized my future as a nutrition consultant.
That's right.
Which was really, I'm a very imaginative person, so that was a great thing to do. I created forms and questionnaires, and these are all things that I've continued to use. I've tweaked over the years, but continued to use those things. So nothing, absolutely nothing was a waste. And I designed my business as I completed my studies. So I was ready then to take off with that. There were so many practical applications in my studies, myself as a client, my friends and family, the business organization component, the Capstone Project that I completed during my last course, where I explained what a holistic nutrition consultant is. And I was able to also develop my own personal written and oral introductions. So I was very prepared to graduate and to move into my career. So 2 years after I began, I was ready to spread my wings as a nutrition consultant.
So great. So great. You're leading up this so beautiful. I love this very picture so much. It just so depicts you. So I'm all yours. I want to hear how you spread those wings.
Okay. Well, I was ready to hit the ground running, thanks to Hawthorn. And so I created my business, Nourish, Natural Nutrition for Your Life. And it's an LLC. It was born in July of 2012. And I used LegalZoom to create that entity with two major areas of focus. I have my one-on-one consultations and I have group offerings. So the one-on-one consultations, really the foundation of that is honoring my clients' biochemical individuality. Everyone is different. So once again, no cookie cutter process to that. And raising their level of wellness. I've had people who just wanted to feel a bit better. Mm-hmm. I've had people who were dealing with some really serious illnesses and diseases. But I really believe that everybody can raise that level of wellness. On the group service side, those are customized as well. I've worked mainly with small groups and can really give that group the information they need. I reached out into my community and made connections and was able to start doing those group offerings within my community. I soon found out that there was a particular clientele mm-hmm. that I was there for and drawn to, middle-aged women who oftentimes have low energy, deal with struggling with trying to get the weight off, digestive issues, and sleep issues.
Yep, those are our big ones.
Yep, and all I have to do is look on Facebook and look at my friends and what they're posting, and it's all of this. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. so It's really nice to have kind of honed in on a certain group of people and certain issues that I can spend my time researching. And so, as I graduated and started my business, my baby, my website was born, NourishNutritionNow.com, created and recreated 2 years ago. A very good friend of mine who is a web developer really revamped the website, and I just love what she's done.
Websites aren't static,
No, nothing is static. My free monthly newsletter was created and sent out in September of 2012. So you can get onto my website and you can sign up for that. And that comes out the first day of every month. That'll be waiting in your inbox. I went through MailChimp for that, and I presently have about 210 subscribers. So loving the process of that.
It's building.
Yes, it's building. My blog was created in September of 2012 as well. You can access that through my website. I have a Nourish Facebook page. And in March of 2016, I decided to really get brave and jump across that chasm and create a YouTube channel. And found out that I absolutely love that. And about a year and a half ago, started an Instagram account. So you can find me at Nourish with Lori Fozo on Instagram.
Fantastic, just beautiful, and it's the progression. It's your social media progression of developing yourself, your business, and showcasing it, getting it out there in an attractive and as broadly as possible way you can. Nicely done.
Definitely.
All right, so let's talk some more about your services that you offer.
Okay.
It's a good time. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready for that. Okay. The majority of my work has been one-on-one consultations, that individualized work. I just love the time and the space to really dig deep, to get to the root cause of my client's issue, and to witness that positive change. That's really exciting. I use, like I say, materials that I acquired at Hawthorn: health questionnaire, diet and lifestyle questionnaire, a 3-day diet record, and there is software that I use called FoodWorks, where I can feed in that diet information and present my clients with some really clean and usable information. I use an intake questionnaire, blood work, prescription drugs that the client uses, and supplements to come up with my food, supplement, and lifestyle recommendations. And they are individualized. And talking about static things or non-static, these aren't static either. No. As I work with clients, things are tweaked and changed to create that success and to, focus in on the thing that's the most important.
Sure. Our protocols, these diet and lifestyle supplement recommendations, they shouldn't be static. If they're designed well and the client is fully participating, we expect them to improve. And as it improves, then the protocol evolves.
Exactly.
Until they've achieved their satisfactory state of wellness, and you're on to the next things with them. So well done.
Definitely. And I provide lots of ongoing support. So there are resources and recipes and menu plans and handouts and whatever is necessary so that person can more easily achieve the goals that they've set, that we've set together. My one-on-one clients also take advantage of my a la carte services, which are on my website. So there are store tours available, pantry and fridge makeovers, interactive cooking experiences, and there's an example of a 7-day meal plan for a client, because when you're changing habits, all the support you know, that you need should be available to help you with that. And my group work has involved classes, interactive workshops where they're actually cooking with me, creating some things. I've had the opportunity to facilitate some retreats, done cooking demonstrations, corporate wellness experiences, and some small group catering, which was a real treat.
Fantastic. You know, for the corporate wellness, how did you get in? Can you share a little bit of how you got in the door?
Yeah, one of my opportunities came. I was at it's called EnviroFest, and every year in a town nearby where I live, they use the botanical gardens, and they have this EnviroFest. And I had a table, and it was just putting myself out there. And the president of a very large corporation in the city stopped by and encouraged me to come and talk to him. So I did a couple of lunch and learns with his organization. So it's just, you know, you put yourself out there, and it's just interesting what can happen.
You have to put yourself out there. You must, and so it's a beautiful return that you got. If somebody was interested, invited you, and you showed up. So fantastic. You know, we have a webinar coming up with Sylvia Doss in September 27th on pitching a successful corporate wellness program. She's fantastic. So we've got something to look forward to for that too. Definitely. All right, back to you though.
Okay. Well, we're talking about reaching out into the community. Yeah. When I started my business, I created brochures and business cards through Vistaprint, and I just started distributing them to places that I frequented, but then I reached out even further. So health and wellness centers, I practice yoga, so my yoga center, my chiropractor, I passed out these materials in food cooperatives where I purchased products, health stores and markets, and our local farmers market. So I soon discovered that, of course, different audiences have different needs and require different formats. So sometimes I did meet and greets where I'm just introducing myself, lunch and learns like at the corporate wellness opportunity where you're actually teaching, health fair booths, workshops and classes. The picture in the lower left-hand corner is a women's retreat that I helped facilitate, and some one-day events. So literally the power of the word of mouth is a real thing. One contact does lead to another, and you never know how that's going to play out. My daughter connected me to a group called MOPS, which is Mothers of Preschoolers, and I did some presentations for them. I signed up for advertised health fairs and events. Oftentimes I met someone at one of those events that led to another opportunity. I had my own personal connections to businesses, and hold on, we'll go back there. And some things I did were self-created and self-promoted, where I would actually, rent some space and have a workshop or a retreat, or have something in my home. So there's lots of different ways that you can get that word of mouth going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. It is really so important. So, you've gained a lot here. It really at the beginning of Nourish and really even now, who have you turned to for advice and support?
Yes, and even though I give my client support, I need support as well.
Right. You've developed so much here.
Yes, and I'm very blessed to have a circle, a network of friend professionals. That's a tongue twister. These people were already in my life, and so I could go to them for formal advice and support, or casual feedback. Heidi, of course, my instructor, always a quick reply to an email that I might send her for some questions or support. My friend Lori, who is my web developer, close friend, creative inspiration, lots of support, and she was one of my practice clients. My friend Diane, who is a life and business coach, and she presented me with my first catering opportunity. Connie, who is my pharmacist and hormone therapist, she was a practice client. Mm-hmm. And I also belonged to a group of women called the Serenity Sisters, and we've been together about 16 years, and they are always there for lots of support and healthy, creative feedback.
Lovely. You know, it's just a few examples of lovely connections that you've gathered around yourself and avail yourself of, and I'm sure they're excited to participate and see, witness your growth too, just like you are with your clients.
Definitely.
Well, you know, Lori, I imagine that, you know, during this whole process of your education at Hawthorn and through developing your business, that you've learned a lot of lessons. And so I wonder if you have any thoughts or advice for current Hawthorn students or graduates of, you know, concerning your business and what they need to, what advice do you have?
Okay, well, sure. You know, you can't go through any process like this and not come out, and of course it's an ongoing learning experience, but I've came up with 7 nuggets here that I think are good things to think about. The first one being self-care. To make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're walking your talk, and you're an example first and foremost. So, you know, your actions always speak louder than your words. So my friends know, they know me. They know what I'm going to bring along for food, and that self-care and then the example is really the first advice that I would give. Secondly, would be to develop a healthy balance between sharing your knowledge for free and placing a value on what you know and what you do. There is an exchange of quote unquote energy and knowing your worth. There is an amount of work that I do that is bartered, not a lot, and there is some pro bono work that I do, but I do value what I know. I started consulting my consultation practice by charging an hourly rate. And I soon found out that people would come a couple of times and they weren't getting out of the relationship and out of the agreement and what they could, because the time wasn't there, the time and patience to really develop and meet those goals and see the success. I believe that, sorry, I'm going to back up here in my thought. I changed over to a 10-week package with my clients, and I did that to increase their commitment, their compliance, and their success, because that ultimately is what you want to see. You want to see someone come away with that.
Yes.
So that was.
You know, I really appreciate this advice here, because we're seeing it more and more in our graduates are going to the programs and their packages. And, you know, certainly that's part of the business courses now, but you know, it just makes me wonder if, you know, with a one-on-one and for a single consultation appointment, if they anticipate that they're going to get all their needs met in a session or two, and versus when you frame it as a 10-week package and really detail what they'll get and what you're offering during that period, they know what they're showing up for and what they're coming into receiving. And yes, you do see a tremendous increase in commitment and compliance, and therefore success. So good for you.
Yeah, and it is a journey. I mean, you're not gonna get everything you need in one session. And I, you know,
Yes.
I'm not a miracle worker. My third bit of, if I can get my thing to work, there we go. My third bit of advice would be to not believe that everybody already knows this stuff, or there are already a lot of people out there doing this kind of work in my community, because I believe we will be connected with the very people who need our particular knowledge, our particular experience, personality, and style. There is enough for all of us out there. No one should feel threatened by someone else who's in maybe the same line of work. My fourth bit of advice would be to make a strong effort to become affiliated with a thriving holistic practice, like a chiropractor, massage therapist, acupuncturist, yoga teacher. This is something that I have attempted to do, but it's been a little difficult. And I think creating some kind of affiliation, you might actually work at that location. You might just receive referrals from them, but that connection is really important, and it really broadens your client base, I believe, has the potential to do that. Number 5 would be develop some passive income to augment your direct work. So supplement sales or creation of ebooks or e-courses on your website. You might have a subscription or a membership on your website for additional information. I sell pure encapsulation supplements and have been doing that since I started my business. I also use those products exclusively, but I got that account when I was a student. One of my goals as a nutrition consultant is to create some ebooks and e-courses, and I plan on begin work on that very soon in the near future. My 6th bit of advice would be to remain in learning mode. So through webinars, conferences, newsletters, websites, blogs, reading books, subscribing to and reading journals. Those are all ways to keep on learning and staying abreast of everything. I've got a picture there of Hawthorn University webinar. Pure Encapsulations has them. I have a subscription to the Townsend Letter, which is a alternative medicine, very scientific journal / magazine. I have worked with PubMed and other types of internet resources that will enable me to stay as informed as I possibly can.
Absolutely. And just a plug here, you know, with conferences, the NANP, the National Association of Nutrition Professionals conferences, is coming up in May, May 16th to 19th in Tucson this year.
Sunny Arizona. Yes.
Fantastic. All right.
And my final bit of advice would be to be open to the new and the unexpected, because you never know what's going to happen. I was honored to have been asked to participate and be interviewed for a local PBS series called Mystics of the Heartland. And my episode was called Spirituality and Healthy Living. That was in 2014. I was not the only one interviewed in that episode, but it was a chance for me to share my authentic self, my passion, my beliefs on nutrition, and how it can nourish the whole body, mind, and spirit. I was interviewed on my patio for that. And I've also had catering opportunities, which I never expected to happen. I've always loved to write, but my blog and my website and my newsletter have given me more opportunities to do that. And I never thought I would be that interested in photography. I have no formal training, but I love taking pictures of food, and I think I have a bit of a knack for it. So
you do, and it's not easy to take good food pictures. It's not.
Well, thank you for that. It was just, I just kind of stumbled onto that. So.
Well, what about your plans for the future? This is all really fantastic, supportive information that you just provided for us. But
Yeah.
what's coming up for you?
Well, Paula, when you and I spoke way back many months ago, talking about this opportunity, I shared with you that I was taking care of my mother, who was 91 at the time.
Right.
And she wasn't living with me, but she was living right around the corner, and she wasn't driving, so I provided her wheels and was her support person and her buddy and all of that. And suddenly, very unfortunately, and suddenly in February, she fell ill. She was a very healthy person otherwise, and passed away on February 11th. So my plans for the future before her passing, I wasn't full on throttle with Nourish because I had this personal responsibility that was so very important. But that personal responsibility has come to an end. And so my plans for the future are probably going to be accelerated a bit because of that. I want to continue to develop my blog and my YouTube channel, be more consistent in my creations and my postings. I want to create at least one, if not several, ebooks, e-courses, really explore that. I always plan on learning and growing because that's just who I am. And I, of course, will continue to share my passion that we all literally deserve to nourish our bodies, minds, and spirits with real food and healthy lifestyle habits. So those are my plans for the future.
They're great plans. This is, yes, as you say, your time has become freer to return to your professional goals. And, I want to just, acknowledge and honor the time and the devotion that you gave to your mother and that responsibility and how much you must have learned and gained from that as well. That's influencing you in your life and your career, I imagine. So
definitely, most definitely.
Thank you. Well, Lori, this has been so much information, so well put together. I really thank you and appreciate you sharing with us today. I want people to learn more about Nourish and know how to reach you if they're inclined. So do you have contact information that you can share?
Definitely. You can find me in all kinds of places. You can find me at my website, nourishnutritionnow.com. You could email me through the website or directly at lori@nourishnutritionnow.com. My blog is accessed through my website. And so that's, going to the website will get you a lot of places there. You can see me on Facebook at Nourish Natural Nutrition for Your Life. YouTube, same name, Lori Fozo. And my Instagram account is Nourish with Lori Fozo.
Nice. Some nice continuity here between your titles and various social medias too.
Yeah.
And good to keep your name in it.
Yes, good to keep it the same. And I just want to thank you, Paula. I am so grateful and blessed and to have had this opportunity. And I just want everyone to do something nourishing for themselves today.
I got to speak with you, Lori, and I want to thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure for me. I hope for everybody that's been listening. I want to mention there will be a very brief survey as soon as the webinar closes. I'd love to have your feedback and any thoughts or comments for Lori. If you have a question or comment now, please put it in the question panel and we'll take a little bit of time for it. But Lori, it's just, I hope that you'll visit us again at Hawthorn and continue to share your good works and the developments that you have in your business.
I would love to. Thank you very much.
Sure. This is really wonderful. It was my pleasure to showcase you and look forward to hearing the updates from time to time.
All right. Wonderful. You have a great rest of your day.
I will. I want to let you know that our next All About Alumni is Wednesday, May 1st at noon Pacific time with Safa Arias. She's an NC grad. She's going to be sharing our interview on the Nourished Healer. So that should be fantastic. You know, May Day, May 1st is actually May Day, and there's folkloric tradition with it. So come back on May 1st, and I'll tell you all about that. Until then, I wish you all the best of health, and I hope you take good care, just like Lori said too. Bye for now, everybody.